First question. How did you become part of the Church on the Rock chain? Or, like, I know there's a bunch of them. How did you become part of that part?
So for me, since I was 11 years old, I was a part of Church on the Rock Golden Triangle, and so I had good references. My pastor knew me. He knew struggles that I went through, life issues, and then kind of coming out of that, they were a part of the whole process. They actually sent me to study theology in Dallas at Dallas Christ the Nations Institute. So they were a part of everything. See what I mean? So I was just part of the church already.
Yeah. What made you want to be part of the church or come into the church?
So initially, I was struggling with very severe drug addiction and bad lifestyle. I didn't have anything. I didn't even have hardly any clothes to wear. I mean, just everything that I touched seemed like it went to ruin. I was dealing with some depression, and I was not even a depressed person, but my life was so bad. So basically, I was just looking for some hope, man.
What made you want to buy/own a church, or I don't know exactly the whole thing, but you know what I mean?
Okay, so the way it works is basically the process was like I felt called as an evangelist, and what that is someone that leads people to a new lifestyle with Christ. They're kind of like the introduction of who Christ is to a person that doesn't even believe in God. So what I did was I was a missionary. I traveled around and did crusades, things like that. So I didn't feel like a local pastor per se.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden the idea came on me. I realized it was God speaking to me because the idea wouldn't leave. And I would be painting houses, man, and would just cry. And all I could do is envision a church coming together. Even though I did not feel qualified, I could not shake the idea. So much so that I finally said, okay, I'll talk to myself and to God. Okay, I'll talk to my pastor about it. So I talked to him about it, and he said, you know what, let's just go through a process and see what God does. Well, I started a Bible study, and it started to multiply from 2 people to 4 to like 10 people to 20. And at my mother's house, it finally got to over 30 people. And so we ended up renting a building, and that became the first Church on the Rock South location in Groves.
So first question, did you support Kyle in the whole starting of the church, and when you came into his life, did you support him in the idea of it?
Yes.
What was your thought process through that entire thing?
I went to Bible college, and I went to school for ministry, so I felt like it was definitely something that God was leading me to even before I came into his life. So I definitely supported the decision and continue to do so.
How has your life changed since you came into his life and started working with the church? Has it gotten better, gotten worse, stayed about the same?
Definitely better. We are a team. We work together. We raise our children together, and then we help each other in the ministry. And I just feel like we're partners, And so it's definitely made my life easier in some ways because I have somebody to, lean on and help me and pray for me and love me. And so it's definitely been for the better.
Were you supportive of Kyle during the whole getting the church, starting a church process?
Absolutely. I really felt like I had heard from the Lord to get behind this ministry and push. And so at the time, was actively involved in prison ministry at the Styles Unit, some of the other local prisons. And so I resigned from those activities and just put everything behind helping the ministry happen. So I was absolutely behind it.
How's your life changed since the start of the church and as it continued? Has it gotten worse, better? Has it about stayed the same?
Well, life happens, and through this process, I've had a tragedy in my life. My husband was killed in a motorcycle accident in 2018. When I first came to the church, it was I kind of felt like my nerve endings were numb, so to speak.
Yeah.
And as time went on and we just began to do church together and worship the Lord together, and just Kyle had just preaches a very fiery sermons, and just through the process of time of continuing to come, continuing to be a part of the church, continuing to come to the services. God is working on me and everyone else, and it's been a beautiful process, because no matter what you're going through, whenever you have a church family, they go through things with you, and you're not by yourself, and they come beside you and help you and pray for you. And so I don't know what I would have done if I had not have had the body of Christ, my local church family praying for me and ministering to me during that whole time of the tragedy, and so I don't know what I would do without the Lord, without Jesus in my life. So I've come just grown by leaps and bounds by being involved in this church.